I want to know the I'm separating the topics. So that's what I'm
Aren't you good?
I want to know the pattern of what you say.
Okay, you ready for the quick tap? Okay. The first thing to know.
If you're at that point.
I am.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, I just want to make sure we had your questions out of the way. So the first thing to say is, let it go, let it go, let it go. It's safe to let it go. I just let it go. Peace. But the pattern behind the words are, how do I know? Aim at how you know. Aim means give it your attention, your conscious, internal attention. I have this pain, I have this feeling, I have this scrunching, I have something going on. Or I've stuffed it so much I don't feel anything, but I know that I know that I know. Because some sensations are just a knowing. I just know it. Especially those of us that are good at stuffing them. And then we kind of have to go in the back door and have another practitioner work on us that can come in through the back side of the forest and slap us upside the head and say, hey, I'm here. I'm one of them. And then all you need then is somebody you trust. So aim first, then let it go, let it go. When you've aimed at what you know inside, how do I know I have a problem? Turn your attention to your fingertips. And you can do the tapping. You know, I've watched Amber, she taps pretty good. I've made my spots, because I tap on Skype with my international clients, and I'll tap with them while I'm telling them where to tap so that I know where we are. And by the time I've done a few of those in a week, my points are sore. I mean, it's just like tapping on a peach. You're going to eventually bruise the fruit. Well, yeah, even though it doesn't show up as marks, it's tender. So you can physically tap, and it does not have to be real strong. Or you can press. Let it go, let it go, let it go, just let it go. Peace. Or you can do what I like to call the sweep, which is you just kind of gently, delicately, almost gracefully, just kind of like you were wiping something off, just real elegantly. And not only does it feel good to do the movement with your arm, almost ballet-like, but it's got a gentle grace to it that kind of just lets it go. And you can wipe your hands. I just let it go. I've done that with clients before. You can do a combination. Let it go, let it go, let it go, just let it go. You can hold. You can use the palm of your hand. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Just let it go. It's safe to let it go. So whatever the physical action is, and the words, it really doesn't matter, because your brain knows at that point what you're doing. And so it's going to go into healing mode. It's already pushing the buttons on the Coke machine, saying, okay, we're setting this up, we're ordering your favorite. You don't even have to walk in, the waitress knows what you want. So aim at how you know, tap, which is the release part, and then transform. When you're done with the tapping, go back to when you say peace, go back to a peaceful memory. To a place where you felt the original emotions of happiness, peace, or joy, or peace, joy, what did I say earlier? Love. Thank you, love. Forgot my love. Okay, love, peace, or joy. I didn't start with it, that's why I skipped it. Or any combination thereof. Whether it's holding that baby for the first time, it's that puppy dog, it's that ice cream cone, whatever it is that makes you feel happy. So aim inside, operate by tapping and releasing. When you get to peace, go to the peaceful memory. It's internal work. The external, you don't even have to do. You can do it mentally, which we've talked about. You know, aim at how you know you have a problem, and then as if your fingers were touching, tapping, or sweeping your forehead, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. You can grab your wrist, or just in your mind grab your wrist, deep breath, blow it out, peace. Then take your mind to a peaceful place and let that peace wash over you. Then go back and check it. Test, operate, test, operate. When you're done, you're peaceful, exit. Question?
When Robert does it on his videos, a lot of times he'll be naming emotions, you know, which is kind of
That's what we're getting ready to do.
okay.
That's the quick tap.
It's counter almost to the aiming, so that kind of
No, because when you're doing the operating, you're past aiming.
okay.
You gave your attention.
Tuned into the emotion.
Yeah. Now, my understanding of traditional EFT, you try to hang on to what it is you're feeling inside while you're doing the narration. Total opposite.
Okay.
You move your attention to your fingertips. The sensation of my hands on my skin, I let it go.
That's
Because the mind has already got what you're aiming at.
that would be helpful.
Okay, so from there we're going to go to the list. Okay. What he has taught, and you'll see a pattern in the videos, is just kind of a memorized list that works in most instances of fight, flight, or freeze. So the first one is I release and let go, which is the setup remark. All, qualifying for our little minds that are so tricky. The eyebrow point, all sadness. The next one, he will repeat again, I eliminate. So our little minds get the point. I eliminate. Still on the side of the eye, or it's actually just a little bit beside the temple and the cheekbone if you do it right on the spot, but it can be anywhere in the area. Release and let go all sadness, all fear. Again, all being the key word. And then move to the cheekbone, just under the eye. I let go all. Emotional trauma. And there I like to throw in a little comedy, so I say, and all impending drama. And that usually gets a smile, which changes the mind's intensity and focus from, oh, poor me, I've got all this bad stuff too, oh, that was funny, and it breaks the cycle. So it actually has a purpose, plus it's fun. So I let go all sadness, fear, emotional trauma. This is mine, all impending drama. Because you know with every trauma, the drama is coming. And from here, it usually varies, but for the most part, it can be all guilt. They kind of come in little compact friend cards. Guilt, shame, blame, hurt. Then there's helplessness, hopelessness, powerlessness, hopelessness, powerlessness, lack of control.
And have we already switched to the collarbone?
Yes. At this point, we go, yeah. This is above the eye, beside the eye, below the eye, and then we go to right about here to the collarbone. And primarily because it's just easy to tap there for a long period of time. Guilt, shame, blame, hurt, and we can add humiliation to that sometimes. Helplessness, hopelessness, powerlessness, lack of control, being controlled. You know, any number of things, you just kind of form a list. The main part that is almost always repeated is up to the collarbone. You'll hear that repeatedly. This is kind of a free-for-all based on what's going on, and they kind of have their little families of origin. But the end is, the big finale is the most important part, and that is, and everything else. Because
lines can't say.
exactly. Well, you didn't talk about this one, so I'm going to hang on to it. So, and everything else. So, what it would look like is I release and let go all sadness. I release and let go all fear. I release and let go all emotional trauma, all anger, hurt, fear, helplessness, hopelessness, guilt, shame, blame, humiliation, whatever's there. I just let it all go, and everything else, I just let it all go. It's safe to let it go. That's a good end. It's safe to let it go. Someone who doesn't feel safe, it's safe to be safe, and it's safe to let it go. Just kind of have to know yourself or know your client. And then grab the wrist, deep breath, rest into it, and say peace. Now, I tend to do both wrists, just because it is me.
Oh, I meant to ask you that last week, so I'm glad that you said that.
I release and let it go, let it go, let it go. It's safe to let it go, just let it go. Just, it's kind of a fluid thing. Again, that graceful thing. And I've had people just wipe their hands, just like you're brushing something off your hands. It's safe to let it go, depending on what you've been hanging on to. Okay. So there's no wrong way to do it. There's no wrong thing to say. Your mind knows what you're doing. When you're working on someone else, the best setup is the tree metaphor, because you're not talking to the person. You're talking to the subconscious mind, and it's where all the work is happening. That's why all the neural pathways are changing in the brain. It's because the programs are getting thrown out. Because you're not getting the physical reaction, the fight, flight, and freeze, because you're interrupting the signal. So you're talking to the subconscious when you say, now I want you to see a tree in front of you. If I were to reach down and pull the roots out from under the tree, what naturally happens to a tree without roots? It's a metaphoric language. It's the language of the brain and the subconscious mind. So, and it goes, oh, it dies, it falls over, it withers. So,
and the idea is that's what we're about to do.
That's what we're doing.
Okay.
And really, you only have to do it once. I rarely do it more than once with a client, unless we hit
The metaphor?
some real stuff. Yeah, the tree metaphor. Or you can say, you know, there's a beautiful garden with a weed in it. You know, what if I pull that weed up by its roots? What naturally happens to a weed without roots, or a weed without soil, or whatever metaphor you want to use. This last training, I heard him use one that he had used overseas, and that was, you know, a bunch of helium balloons. If I let them go, what happens? They're gone. So it's a metaphoric language to prepare the mind to do the work, because that's where the work is. The work is not in the practitioner like it is with EFT, where you've got to come up with the phrases, you've got to come up with the routine, you've got to come up with all this stuff. No, we're letting the mind do the work, because the mind knows, how do I know there's a problem? And what are my belief systems? So when you're stuffing all that stuff down and you don't have memory of it, the mind knows what it is, you don't have to know. And there are some things you may never want to know. So, does that help?